Today I want to talk about 3 aquarium filters that you can build right now. So today's topic is actually about how certain types of filters are being used in the hobby entirely wrong. And I'm going to talk more so about that at the end of this video. With that said, I thought it was a good idea to also incorporate the top 3 filters that you could literally build right now. When it comes to aquarium filtration, there's typically a couple of main things that we focus on. One is mechanical filtration, and the other is biological filtration. Meaning mechanical will clear your water and polish it, remove any debris or anything that's floating in the tank and make it clear. Biological meaning that it's processing all of your fish waste from ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. Now for years I've been showing you guys how to build a massive array of different types of aquarium filters. And for the most part, a lot of them have become extremely popular. Today I'm covering 3 of the ones that we've already built. However, I want to revisit the proper ways to use them. A lot of you guys will remember that I like to build a lot of filters and even equipment out of water bottles. So for the first filter, what we're going to do is simply cut the bottle in half. Slide this onto a power head or pump of some sort that will accommodate a bottleneck, and then stuff it with polyester filling. Now if you watched my video on do-it-yourself aquarium media, you'll know exactly the type of filling that I'm talking about. Now you've got yourself a water polisher. Toss this in your aquarium, and it works by the pump sucking up water through that filling, which is filtering out the fine particles in the water, returning only polished water to your tank. Now the thing about this type of filter is that it is just a temporary situation. Meaning that you're only polishing your water for a certain reason. Maybe you just did a water change and you stirred a lot of things up, or maybe you just fed and there's a lot of heavy eaters in your tank. Whatever the case may be, you don't need to be running this all the time. Why? Well, because after you've polished your water, everything that you sucked out of your water is still in your tank and in the water system. You just don't see it because it's stuck in the polyester filling. Meaning that this will continue to pollute your water until you remove it. So in my opinion, it should only be run from 1 to 3 hours whenever you need it. On that same note, if you don't have a pump, all you need is a water bottle cut in half with the polyester filling, and then toss this onto the end of your filter. If you have a hang on the back filter, this will slide up on the intake quite nicely, or if you have a canister filter, you can put your intake on this. This will temporarily polish your water until you get it as clear as you need it to be. This is by far one of my favorite types of filters due to how easy and common it is to build one, not to mention its usefulness. The next filter we're going to do is another type of mechanical filter. However, this is going to be a surface skimmer, meaning that we're going to skim the surface of the water and remove any built up proteins or floating plants you don't want there or anything else that's floating there. To do so, you simply cut the top 30% off of the bottle. Then form teeth out of the top of the bottle by simply cutting out notches. Now you'll have to get used to how many notches you need as well as how wide they need to be in order to accommodate the type and size of pump that you have. The stronger the pump, the more teeth and bigger teeth you will need. Once you've cut out all your teeth, again, you simply take some polyester filling, toss it inside of it, and attach it to your pump. This goes in upside down in your aquarium, and the brim of the bottle breaches the surface of the water. You'll need to adjust the height to make sure that you are getting some surface skimming, yet the bottle is not draining dry. As the water is being skimmed, it's then filtered through this polyester filling and returned to the aquarium. Now I built this a couple years ago, and since then some people have said that they had issues with their fish getting stuck in the teeth or actually getting sucked down into the filter. The solution there is easy. Make the teeth smaller, and then take the top of the bottle that you cut off and place it on top, meaning that fish can't get in through the top, but water can still get sucked in through the sides. Now when it comes to flow rates for a surface skimmer, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't take long to skim an entire surface of an aquarium regardless of the size of the pump. Contrary to the water polisher, where the more powerful the pump is, the faster it will polish the water. So sizing the pumps for these types of filters all depends on how fast you want it done. Now a surface skimmer is something that you can leave on your aquarium all the time. It doesn't have to be taken off. However, I do suggest replacing the polyester filling as often as you can. So this is one of my favorite filters as well. Now let's move on to the filter that prompted the reason to make this video. For this one, we're going to need a water bottle as well as a drill. You'll also need a suction cup or two, air line and an air pump, some coarse filter foam at about 30 ppi, and some biological filtration media. In this case, I'm using some ceramic cylinders meant for the aquarium hobby that I already had on hand. However, a much cheaper and equal method is to simply crush up some lava rock like I've shown you how to do in the do-it-yourself filtration media video. The drill bit you're going to want to use is 5 millimeters in diameter. That is because the airline hose is about 6 millimeters in diameter. And if we drill a 5 millimeter hole and shove the 6 millimeter airline into it, it's going to be a snug fit and stay in place. Start off by drilling a few holes in the top of the bottle. I suggest going with at least 5. Followed by drilling a hole in the neck of the bottle. Then drill a hole in the side of the bottle. Last, we'll drill a bunch of holes in the top of the bottle. Now it's ready to put together. The first thing you're going to want to do is insert your suction cups. These should be the type with the type of nub on the top of them so that when we insert them into the side of the bottle, they stay secure. Then fill your bottle up with that biological media. Then place your cap back on the bottle. Followed by inserting your airline hose into the side of the bottle neck. Now cut a hole in your sponge so that the bottle cap goes halfway down the sponge. All you have to do now is install this into your aquarium. Plug your airline hose into an air pump and turn it on. And that's it. As air is pumped into the bottle, the air will rise through the bottle, causing suction behind it. That suction is pulling water through your bottle cap, but first it goes through the sponge where it's mechanically filtered. As the air rises up through your ceramic media, it is biologically filtered, and then finally released through the holes at the top, where the water is fully filtered. Now these bubbles that are rising hit the water's surface and burst. This bursting action causes surface agitation, which aids in oxygen exchange at the surface. Typically once a week, you'll want to take your sponge off and give it a quick few squeezes in old aquarium water, usually when you're doing your water changes. Now on to why I made this video in the first place. Why am I using this filter and telling you to use this one instead of using this fluidized filter, which I actually did videos on one day apart a few days ago. Back then, I guess you could say I didn't care when the videos went up or how long they were or how they were done. I just really enjoyed sharing projects. I had zero idea how popular the fluidized bottle filter would become. With that said, I feel it's my responsibility to basically tell you that you're doing it wrong. Before we move on though, I guess I should first explain what a fluidized filter is and how they work, potentially showing why they become so popular. K1 Coldness is the fluidized media that you would typically use in one of these, and it is a neutrally buoyant material, meaning that it floats. However, once it accumulates any sort of extra weight, it sinks and becomes suspended in the water. For example, if bacteria start to inhibit this media, it will become suspended in the water column, making it extremely easy to fluidize, making it an ideal media for fluidized filters. Now this became most popular in waste treatments and water treatment plants, and then the koi hobby, finally making it to the aquarium hobby in recent years. The reason why it's been so successful is that it is basically a zero maintenance type of media. As this becomes fluidized and starts moving around, bacteria inhibit it, and because it's constantly moving around, all of the older bacteria is knocked off, leaving only the youngest and most efficient bacteria behind. It also has a protected inside where bacteria and microorganisms can live out their life cycle within it. Essentially, it's a highly efficient filter. Now I have to add, although I made a video on this and I explained how to size it to your aquarium, I explained how much media you will need, you'll notice that I actually never used one on my personal aquariums. And I'll get to the reason in a minute. I find that these became more and more popular over the years, and I certainly attributed to that popularity due to the fact that not only did my video become the most popular video of all time on these filters, But I actually incorporated it into a lot of my other builds, building it into different types of sumps, all-in-one filters, barrel filters, building it into large sumps. And those videos went on to get millions of views. So you might see a video of mine that got 1.5 million views, but if you incorporate all the other videos that I made showcasing this method of filtration, we are approaching 10 million views in total. So why did those other filters matter? Well, I think what happened was a lot of people seen the filters that I was building on a larger scale. They seen the pros and cons to it. They seen the tanks and the fish that I was supporting with it. And they wanted to have something like that on their own. And they seen the smaller version of it, thinking that they're going to get all the benefits that Joey got and have a neat looking filter in their aquariums if they build it in this manner. And a lot of people had success with it. A lot of people built them and put them on established tanks, saying that their filtration is working great. Meanwhile, the tank was probably already established and cycled, and this was doing literally very little. In fact, the sponge that you put on the bottom of it has a higher filtering capacity than this. That is why I made this video. I want to explain why you probably shouldn't build this, and you should build this. Let's first talk about the filter media's capacity, or its filtering capacity. A liter of K1 coldness can support approximately 3 grams of feeding. Meaning that if you feed your fish 3 grams of, say, 40% protein food, you only need about 1 liter of media. And that will be able to handle that type of feeding within 24 hours. But when you build it into a little bottle, this isn't a liter. Since you have to stock it at approximately 60% media to 40% water, you're only getting about 1/4 of a liter in here. So that 3 grams of feeding is now knocked down to almost 1/2 gram of food every 24 hours. And that's something that a lot of people just simply do not understand. To put that into perspective, we have the exact same size filter here. Yet we can fill this all the way to the top with ceramic media, which has a massive surface area and works great for submerged filters like this. Again, lava rock would do the same job. So does this equal this? Absolutely not. You would need 6 of these to equal 1 of these. And you're not going to tell me that you're going to have 6 of these in your aquarium. But maybe you want to put it in a 2-liter bottle. Well, you're going to need 3 of these to equal 1 of these. If you haven't guessed it, submerged media can support a bioload 6 times greater than fluidized media. So why do I use it on big tanks though? Well, that's where its real potential comes into play. Of course you can fluidize it and it'll do a good job in these little water bottles, but its efficiency is entirely wasted. You're not going to support any sort of real aquarium sizes with these. Again, the sponge that you're putting on them is probably what's supporting your tank. And then before you know it, everybody's got a video on the fluidized filter in a bottle. And it becomes even more popular for all of the wrong reasons. In my opinion, it became popular because it looks cool, and it gets a lot of views on YouTube. It also has a lot of selling factors, but those factors don't actually really apply to a little water bottle. Now, I don't want to come across like I'm against K1 coldness media or fluidized filters in general. In fact, here's 100 liters of it right now. This is for a filter that I'm working on. I believe in fluidized filters when they're properly applied in the right application. And that is the big problem. The smaller fluidized bottle filter is simply trending for all of the wrong reasons. Now there's a butterfly effect to everything. Evolution Aqua, the company that makes K1 coldness, came out with a new media called K1 Micro, which is like half the size of K1, and that's in direct response to the popularity on YouTube and the videos that are being created on these. I don't care if it's smaller. It's still not going to be worth your time in these bottles. So let's say this K1 Micro can support twice a bioload as the K1. So in order to replace this 500 milliliter bottle of ceramic media, instead of having 6 of these, you'll only need 3 of these. Or you'll only need 2 of these. Still, would you rather have 1 of these in your tank or a couple of these? The only real benefit that you're going to get in these bottle type settings is that it's self-cleaning. But at such a small level, the self-cleaning is just really pointless. It's going to take you less than 5 minutes every 6 months to a year to empty this out and rinse it in tank water. Both still get a sponge. Both of these sponges still need to be rinsed equal amounts of time. So go out and buy yourself a bag of barbecue lava rock. Crush up about 50 cents worth and toss it in the bottle. You now have a filter much more biologically capable than the fluidized filter, and you're only paying $1 for this. The other downside to these becoming popular is that the price of this K1 is skyrocketed. For example, if I go on eBay and if I want to buy a liter of this, I'm looking at anywhere from $8 to $12. Meanwhile, for 100 liters a few years ago, I paid $200. Meaning that there's been a 600% increase in pricing. Is that because a few years have passed? Well, everything rises in price over time. But a 600% increase is simply just selfish sellers taking advantage of a trending topic. And I guess I should end the video like this. I also feel it's my responsibility to an extent to kind of put a stop to these fluidized bottles. Anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If not, join me next Thursday where I will have something different for you. And if you can't wait till then, I'll be back this Sunday with a new do-it-yourself aquarium project.